absurd, pathetic, and just insane. So earlier this morning, on my way to work, I came across this article. This is what it says. It says popular streamer Ishowspeed has announced that he is taking a break from streaming after rumored claims that his monthly income from YouTube has dropped to around 800,000 US dollars, right? The announcement surfaced on February 7th, 2026 through viral clips and posts on social media platforms like X and Facebook. In the videos, the YouTuber appeared visibly frustrated, and as he spoke about the situation, saying that he puts in constant effort and long hours into his content. He made it clear that he does not want to be taken lightly or treated like a joke, especially after years. All right, there's a little bit, actually my backup light, my fill light is a little bit hazy. So I think I'll do without it. I'll do without it. So I'll just move close. It's been a while. Yeah. But while $800,000 a month is extremely high income, Ishowspeed suggests that the drop represents a larger issue for him. According to online estimates, his YouTube earnings usually stay around that figure due to billions of views across his channels. However, fans believe he may be comparing the current streams to when it's peak viewership, which is perfectly, absolutely fine, because the amount of work that Ishowspeed has put in, especially specifically for his African tour, and I'm defending that because there are so many lies, propaganda, stories, theories, facades, manipulation, oppression, and so many, let's say, ideologies that had initially been sold about Africa that were just debunked live on those 28 days, 20 country African tour, Speed Does African tour. And let me just fill you in. There was one of the IRL streams, I think was IRL Zambia or Zimbabwe, IRL Zambia, Zimbabwe. Ishowspeed was on top of the car as usually he did, and he was talking about some of the things that he had to do to consider actually for who he is as a person, as a streamer, and also for his mental health. And then he goes ahead, I actually did that commentary video. It's right here on this YouTube channel. He went ahead and explained and said, if only while they are planning that African tour, they would consider him having a break, then that would have at least given him breathing space to maybe even conquer more African countries. But it was actually 20 countries within 28 days, which he successfully managed to clock. And that's super incredible. That's super incredible. That's super incredible for sure. Super incredible. Countries, 28 days. Never been done by no one. Never. There will never be an American coming to Africa to stream live and showcase how Africa looks in 28 days live on their own social platform. Not even a president. And let me tell you, no African who has 50 million plus followers on their personal platform would even accept to put you in front of their own stream, because they'll be protecting their worth. They're all about their numbers. They're all about their fame. They're all about everything that they own. So they will not accept to put you in front of their stream. So the reason why Ishowspeed's payment is being slashed is to actually punish him. And I want to give you a little bit of a backstory. Before Ishowspeed became famous, he was doing streams, right? He was doing all this crazy stunts and all those, comedic, and also playing the virtual games and everything. And then he had to actually quit school because at some point he felt like school was not for him. And so when he took a little hiatus, there's this dude by name Aiden Ross, who I think they're among the three best streamers in the United States. Ishowspeed, Kai Sinat, Aiden Rose. There's somebody. I actually know like 10 of them, but these three are like the most best selected few. Actually, not even the best streamers. It's like the god of streaming. Ishowspeed, Aiden Rose, uh, Kai Sinat, and some other. I think that there's top five, and then there's different categories as well. So that was just punishment. That he had requested. In fact, he said when he first pitched this African tour to his management, to his team, nobody was on board. It's only him, Sleeps, and Henry. They're the only ones who had actually said that they want to be part of this African tour. So later thereafter, it became 13 people on board, and then everybody else was hands on deck. And when he started receiving a lot of attention after he did the first, I think he shot now the montage. He started receiving a lot of attention, and people are so excited, especially right here in Africa. People are fighting. Bro, in my country, there was an online battlefield. Before Ishowspeed landed here, there was a battlefield. There was a battlefield of what should Ishowspeed do when he lands in Kenya. So, in short, Ishowspeed is wild. He's a famed streamer. All that visibility and the algorithm and the way he's given everything first hand and priority, it's a very lethal weapon. So him coming to Africa to showcase that to the elites and just uncovering and exposing the propaganda and the lies they had told the whole entire world about Africans, and Africa all being thought to be just a country, like one single country. It got exposed live on that stream. So, and because Ishowspeed had to be indicted into the world of streaming, he is controlled by handlers. And this handlers, part of the handlers as well, is Edin Ross. Part of the handlers as well is his management. Part of the handlers as well include people that are directly linked to YouTube, the controllers of the backend of the algorithm and YouTube. Ishowspeed is in touch with them. So what usually happens even in LA when you want to be famous in the United States, there's usually some sort of like a talent scouting, right? They do a meetup, they select the best few or the best of the best, and you guys are briefed and told, you know what, there's this so and so manager, he's looking for people to work with on this and this project, and you guys must have this skill and able to do this and that. So this is the amount we will pay you for this, be doing this. So if it's being a socialite, they will brand you and curate a whole personality and reality and image of a socialite. If it's streaming, they will give your content first-hand priority on the algorithm. Whenever you share something or anything, could it be a stunt, they'll always give it first-hand priority. But they will also reap off the benefits of that in terms of revenue generated, you'll be having in terms of their agenda and what they want you to actually fulfill by you enjoying the benefit of being given first-hand priority in that project. So they will assign you handlers in the name of managers, and Ishowspeed has handlers. If you are very observatory, you realize I think half of Ishowspeed's team is white, and they always ensure they have equal representation of their own people, so that the day you feel like you can't do no more, they just they cut you off. They cut it. They disconnect. They pull the plug on you. And so when it comes to you being fed a certain pay grade and a certain rate card, they'll market you and present you as the world's best because you are handled by the controllers of the algorithm and the platform. Your work is to just stream. And so Ishowspeed had something unique. He was talented, he was funny, he was weird, he was awkward, and he was unafraid, and he was young and fresh. And so they need that energy. So what they will always do is they'll always control you. And that's what they are doing now to Ishowspeed when it comes to his payments. And also another weakness is he's black. He is black, and so he's vulnerable. He doesn't have the right forces and systems that fight for him as a black man. Best believe if Ishowspeed would have been white, that pay grade would be twice or three times or even four times or even five times more. If it was a white man, Ishowspeed, with that amount of fame and that skill and that speed that he showcases, he would be paid 5 times more, because the controllers of the algorithm, the owners of the algorithm, the handlers in the back end are white. The owners of YouTube are white. The owners of this AI, robotics, and everything, all of them are white. So it's about ownership. And so, like, the fame and the platform that they have given you is getting to your head, and you can't hear from them anymore. When they want to turn you off and turn you on and play you around and you react, or you went to Africa and everybody loves you in Africa, and now it looks like you served the whole entire world, and so you're expecting to be paid more, they punish you. It has happened to famous elite personalities. They let Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson requested to see in fact, he wanted to own his masters. It became a warfare, and boom, dead. Whitney Houston requested the same. What happened? Dead. Who else? Luther Vandross. What happened? Dead. You know, who else? So the controllers of these platforms are not in favor of the black person, because if you look at the billionaires, just look at the top 5 billionaires right now. The top 5 billionaires. The first one is Elon Musk leading, right? Could be Larry Page next. Skin tone. Could be Jeff Bezos, right? Amazon, right? Mark Zuckerberg, skin color. AI, Sam Altman, skin color, skin color, skin color. Who do they favor? Their own folks. So if you look at the top 5 billionaires in the world that have power and ownership of resources, or let's even say systems that control the masses, or systems where every human being is channeling their energy, either to stream like what I'm doing right now, to sell a product, to market something, to speak, or just express yourself, is not owned by a black folk. And so just by the virtue of him being black, already it's a weakness, and he's open to explain. In his management, Sleeps is white, but Sleeps is in favor of Ishowspeed. That is like his blood on blood brother. Ames, who is his manager, his I believe that's equal representation as well. Daryl, he's white, yes, equal representation of race as well. The bodyguards, the main, I think it's Rudiger and Henry, black, for security purposes. So they'll always market it, and it will look like it's an equal, fair representation of people, but in the back end, they're torturing this dude and giving him ultimatums and telling him, if you don't do this, if you don't do this, then this is what we're deducting. And so that YouTube drop in terms of revenue, it's a punishment for sure, for sure, for sure. It's a punishment because at first, Speed insisted on the African tour, right? And also maybe these elites, they didn't expect that when Ishowspeed will come to Africa, things would be so seamless, and it would be such an amazing serendipity rendition of amazingness and development, and just, everything got debunked live without editing. So Ishowspeed became a savior of Africans. He became a king in some kind of sort of way. So what do they do to you? The elites were watching, and I bet you there's always a person assigned, not even a person. In fact, it could be like a whole desk that was assigned to watch and monitor all the IRL streams that Ishowspeed did. Watch every second, minute, and hour of it, and that country, and what its strengths, its weaknesses, its vulnerabilities, everything good that that country has in terms of capacity, the comments, the kind of intellect, the expression that the people have, the capacity, the knowledge, the systems operating and working in that country. That was also used as a research paper. Actually, if you guys don't know, there's so much that happened behind the scenes of Ishowspeed's IRL stream. And now that the West is ganging up to control almost everything in the world, It was like an expose documentary that just laid everything bare to the naked eye. So the impact and the magnitude and the strength and the gravitas and the fortitude that this dude had to do that tour within 28 days without a break, he needs compensation for sure. Like it takes a lot of mental grit and spiritual power to conquer one African country after another, leave alone you being given, let's say, enjoying the virtue of opportunities and resources, just the capacity to do it. Yes, there's always some 1 to 3 logistics that have to be in place, and that management will take care of that. But appearing there raw and filtered, that can never be compared. So that dude deserves a heroic, he deserves a kingly award and honor and honorary, bro. He deserves it. So this deduction of almost 200,000 on his monthly pay, I'm 1,000% sure Ishowspeed was making more than 1 million. He was making more than 1 million. There are so many conspiracies that were debunked, and I want to actually confirm to you that Ishowspeed paycheck, monthly paycheck, is actually debated by the owners of YouTube because they were specifically placed there by the owners of those social media platforms. So Ishowspeed knows the bosses at Meta. He knows the bosses at YouTube. They've met him. They've conversed. He knows the bosses at Twitch. He knows them. In fact, wasn't it the other day when Kai Cenat quit? And I can see a comment right here. You're saying there was a debate why Kai Cenat was removed from Mount Rushmore. And Ishowspeed was actually, I think, because initially Ishowspeed had been blocked from Twitch because of some other scandalous things that happened. Of course, he's always been, had this stance that he performs and whatnot and the backing and everything. And so I think it led to, some sort of like an online, tug of had to be suspended. I think was it on Twitch? Yes, on Twitch. But the boss of Twitch was still very close to Kai Cenat, and Kai Cenat was streaming on Twitch, meaning that already tells you that these platforms, they pick who they want to give priority in terms of visibility, fame, and even your content just being naturally broadcasted, and who to pay you, and what to pay you rather, and how much, and what can you do to sustain that payment? What are you willing to trade and put on the line for that kind of payment, for that kind of visibility? And I bet you Ishowspeed has traded a lot. He's had to put a lot into consideration. You might just never know, and you will never know. So this slashing to 880,000, a lot of people out here saying, oh, that's still a lot of money. No, it's not a lot of money. It's not. Basing off of the fact that, he has a team to run, he has the IRS, he is black, first of all. Let's underline that one. He's a black person who is famous. So nobody wants him on those platforms. They want somebody else who they know is, skin color. So that's the after expect that when he goes back, even I think at some point we were doing calculations, how much is Ishowspeed gonna make from IRL Kenya? How much is it gonna? Because I remember doing calculations, and I did a commentary video here. It said Ishowspeed could make 15,000 US dollars to 44,000 US dollars. That is per million views on a video. That is per million views, but it varies with the categories. For example, that one has its own rating in terms of the payment. But when it comes to the IRL streams that showcases nature and just reality, it has its own category as well, depending on YouTube AdSense and IRL stream, and AdSense, and how I think it's all about the CPA, and the ads and the revenue at large, all the calculation CPA when it's done. So you would expect, like from Kenya, he got 10 million plus views. You'd expect he'd be earning close to 4 million. 4 million from that, 4 to 5 M from IRL stream Kenya. And then you can now add Ethiopia and everything. So that means that he's going to run short, especially if he had spent, let's say, for example, he took from the bank, let's say $5 million, right? Or 10 M to just facilitate his African tour. He has to pay it back. And he has a team he's working with, logistics facilities, Of course, he was using the best of the best. These entry visas, the permits from different African countries, 20 countries within 28 days is insane. All of that, I'm sure it costs more than $10 million. It does cost more than $10 million. Yeah. So that deduction is actually punishment. It is punishment, and I know it. I'm 1,000% sure it is punishment. Because the world is now talking about if Ishowspeed is the next Michael Jackson, is he more famous than Michael Jackson? Everybody's talking about Ishowspeed, comparing him to the greats of the greats. And of course, the fact that he is black, it's not pleasant to the owners of these platforms anymore because they get disgusted by you. And because they own you, they punish you. They punish you. And of course, this guy takes care of a lot of people. The management itself, management could have been given to him maybe by the owners because, like I said, he has handlers. Management could have been given to him or assigned to him by the owners of YouTube and Twitch, including Discord. But now the financial streams and circulation and expenditures, if they blackball him, like I said, a time is going to come when Ishowspeed will not be always the best streamer. They always try to pitch, and this thing comes with threats. You'll tell them like the way he's just announced that he's taking a break, right? So what they're gonna do is they're gonna threaten him. They'll tell him we are pitching somebody else. We are pitching somebody else, and we will put them in your position, and maybe you can continue staying on that break. So the threats and the ultimatums and do this or we will drop. That's why you will hear all of these American famous personalities, they always take a break, a mental health break, because they're being tortured by their handlers. They're being tortured, for sure. That one I know 1,000%. So the best we can do as even Africans is to maybe raise more conversation online. Raise more alarm and just say, no, bro, this guy made Africa like nobody has ever done a documentary, unedited, that just showcases a country's chaos and whatever happens in there. And who wouldn't want to be featured on Ishowspeed? Our own president right here in our country did a welcome video for Ishowspeed, telling him, Karibu Kenya. You know, Kenya is an experience and you gotta feel it, you know? Who wouldn't want, bro? Who wouldn't want? And the fact that he's black, he represents a lot of people, including white people. Like a lot of people see themselves in him. So about his pay cut or his payment dropping, for me, I was anticipating. I actually remember because I'm a co-host on a morning show, and I was having a conversation with my co-presenter, and I was telling him it's just a matter of time before you hear Ishowspeed say something that is just absurd. Like he's taking a break. And I remember even telling my co-host he's definitely going to announce a mental health break. And boom, I was actually surprised because I was not online, I think, for the last couple of, I think, 3 days. I've not been like scanning through the blogs and the sites. It's when today I actually saw my producer send me that update. It's here on my mobile phone, actually. When she sent that update, I was like, oh my gosh. And I was even telling my co-presenter, isn't this what we just talked about last week? Look, it's happening. It's happening. So there's a lot that dude has put in place, a lot he had to sacrifice, and the strength, like going without sleep for 28 days, nonstop. Oh my gosh, it deserves. Have you ever heard of a word, of an adjective called Africa avant-garde? That deserves an Africa avant-garde, like somebody who inspired generations, young, older, unborn, born to be born. Africa avant-garde. But what they do to him is they punish him with a pay cut. And I'm sure that thing hurts. It drains you, bro. When you're a star and you're punished for your work, it drains the soul out of your body. And so I can only imagine. Maybe I could be so extremely passionate about this, but I know I have been there as well. I used to work for a TV in the radio station, and I was punished for something when they brought in a new management. And believe me, you lose all the passion. You feel unloved, you feel rejected, you feel dismissed, you feel diminished, devalued, and just disgusted about everything. So I perfectly get why he announced that break. And it's only important that he actually does. If he said, he promised actually that he'll be back in Africa, you know, definitely they're not going to allow him to be back sooner. It's going to take a bit of time. So I pray that everything falls in line. I pray that everything falls in line because we are heading to a dispensation where the West wants to control everything. They'll put up AI systems, a hold on every, like it's going to be a competition of ownership. Ownership. Like you, and that's what I'm telling you. I was even telling a friend, like right now, there's no room to feel uninspired, bro. You have to feel inspired every day. Like even if your situation is the worst, like just think, oh, like for example, you've lost somebody who used to love you. Think of replacing them with something. Think of replacing them really fast. Somebody has done you dirty and you can't move on. You have to move on because it's all about you, bro. It's all about you, bro. So put yourself first. Like you have to think faster. Like we're heading to a season and a dispensation where it's about what you can do for you and maybe others as well. But go faster. So there's no room to feel extremely sad, depressed, angry, and wallowing in that misery because things are gonna be very conditions. I actually foresee a harsh future. Like it's going to be extremely cutthroat. So I encourage people to feel inspired. I've gone through I'd say insurmountable seasons of sadness, emptiness, rage, confusion, anger, bitterness, and just feel like nobody loves me, supports me, honors me, or wants me. But I told myself I have to be my number one fan. I have to support myself because if I lay my guard down, like if I drop it, if I lose my strength, nobody's gonna pick me up. So I have to get up. I have to get up. I have to get up. And also it's like the battle is now in the mind. And they're going to use everything on digital to control it. So just get better. Just get better, bro. Just get better. And I pray that people get this revelation. I pray that people are able to actually feel rejuvenated whenever they go through seasons of, low wattage, like low battery wattage, feeling uninspired, you've lost a gig or something is not moving on well, or a disappointment, a heartbreak, a loss. Like you just have to pick yourself up and move. You have to pick yourself up and move because what they're coming up with is going to be extremely cutthroat. It's going to be extremely cutthroat. So also your faith, your passion, the value system, the community of people you've built, those that actually support you, love you, and care for you are the people you're going to fall back on. So don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself and just feel inspired. And I think that sums up this conversation because when I saw this, I really felt it, man. Also, but there's this, it's actually called a parasocial connection where you can see yourself in a famous person's life. Like it's like you know and understand everything about them. That you can even tell their story without you speaking to them or meeting them in person. So it's called a parasocial relationship. So at bro, shut up about Ishowspeed. Woof 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 woof. Yes. Okay. You know what? I'll tell you this, Chad. I'll tell you this, Chad. Sometimes when a person is experiencing something that you can see yourself through it, and you know very well at some point you went through that or you will go through it, the only thing you can do is learn. The only thing you can do is learn. You've actually sent a message and it's being held for view. So no abusive texts or messages, my brother, my friend. No, 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 no. But like I said, always learn. Always, speed is the God. Yeah, speed is the God. Speed is the God, but he's being controlled. He's being punished and he's being controlled by the owners of the algorithm. And so they'll do everything that they can to ensure that, he feels demotivated. Because I have a friend who lives in, let me explain. I have a friend who lives in Calabasas. So she worked at the Ellen DeGeneres show. She interned at Wendy Williams show. And she was telling me whenever the elites want to promote a certain, let's say a certain project in the industry, they usually do talent scouting. And so they go for the very best. So they do some sort of like an induction of people who already have something going on for themselves. So what they do is they give you the ability to amplify it. So they finance it and they give you first-hand priority. And when Ishowspeed was inducted into the elite circle of streamers, he just turned out to be splendid and spectacular. And so his videos and what he does was given first-hand priority in terms of viewership, the algorithm, the clicks, and the likes. He had even the chance to meet the CEO of YouTube, who is Mahon Neil, and that just um, gives him the impetus and the passion to become the brand of Ishowspeed. So everything he does is how to move faster, stunts, racing elite athletes, doing outrageous things. And away from that, his personality itself is really marketable and just weird. And, you know, he's a wild card. He's a wild card, so to say. And that makes him the best fit person for him to be given priority as a personality that showcases speed. But what the elites and the handlers do is they control you and also they punish you. If you look at the story of Michael Jackson, he was punished because he was black. If you look at the story of Whitney Houston, she was punished because she was black. If you look at these legendary, iconic personalities that passed on, that had influence and fame and all that fortune, there's a bit of suffering and being mishandled and abused and dismissed and diminished in terms of their worth and their value, especially from their art and everything that they were doing to the world. So that's what exactly Ishowspeed is. But it's always just a matter of time. And Ishowspeed is the god. And I feel like he deserves the best. That's lash out. In fact, if it's 880,000 US dollars per monthly, maybe initially it was maybe 1.5 or maybe 2M. And maybe annually he makes more. And that doesn't mean that all that money is go to him. It doesn't go to him. It goes to the management. I'm sure there's money that YouTube deducts from him. There's money that goes to his handlers. And then there's money now that goes probably to his account. And plus he's a black person, so there's black tax and then many others. So yeah, I think that was my explanation. So no, I don't think he's part of the Illuminati. He's a part of the elite community that controls who is famous, like who is given priority in terms of visibility. Illuminati, I doubt, but he is a part of the elite that was given first-hand priority in terms of visibility for the social media platforms. So Illuminati, I have no idea, but being handled and controlled by the owners of the algorithm, he is. No, he's not part. He's not part of that. He's not part of that, bro. I don't think so. Or maybe, could be. Maybe, could be. But rituals, remember ritual is something that you practice every day. It could be like prayer, ritual, you know, a habit that you've got that makes you feel excited or that gets you into doing something. Or when you do that habit, it becomes a ritual. So when you become better at it, I doubt. I don't think he is. I don't think he is. But there's a lot of things that he said you have to put into consideration, and that just shows you that he's human. But one thing I can tell you for sure is he is handled. Yeah, he has handlers behind the in charge of almost everything he does. And also he has a very powerful management team. And I think that's that. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm going to try to diversify my content and not just sit here and speak a lot of gab. I'll, yes, I'm actually collaborating with a friend. So sooner we will actually, in the last video he did, he said about guys. In the last video he did say in the past to a guy who spoke about guys. I mean, what do you mean, bruh? What do you mean? What did he say in his last video? What did he say? Oh, and yeah. So what? I'll help you actually explain that. So also, when you become part of the controlled, because like I said, there's talent scouting, and you're given handlers. There's rules and guidelines that you must adhere to. You're not allowed to publicly declare that you belong to a specific religion, because if you do, you could offend your handler, and your handler is, he doesn't believe in a specific religion, because some of these people believe religion is BS. So you'd rather just say you love God and you proceed. But if you declare a specific faith, people of that faith are going to flock your platforms and just said, yeah. So I think that was the best way he could have said that, other than him saying he's a Christian, he served. Yeah. Would have been a little bit powerful if he would have just admitted that he's a Christian or he's a Muslim and he loves Allah and that's what he worships. But also, it's a double-edged sword, actually. It's a double-edged sword. So if God made you rich, would you change? If God made me rich, would I change? I don't think I would change. I think the only thing that could change is my lifestyle. But me and still having a relationship with God, it will be, in fact, it will fortify my relationship with God. Just my lifestyle. Yeah. And if God made me rich and wealthy, my relationship with Him will just be fortified. Like, yeah. So with a net worth of $1 billion, my relationship with God will be fortified because I know who I am, and I know who He is and what He made me to be. So I know my purpose. I don't think I'd change if God blessed me with a net worth of $1 billion. Yeah. $1 billion is a good amount of money. I'd help a lot of people. I'd actually, if I had $1 billion right now, all the people that despised me, hated me, dismissed me, locked me out or shut me out, at least unless like for example, if they had debt, we'll clear it forever. Like forget that. I just do, like, there's a Bible, not a bar, it's a Bible verse that talks about like do to your neighbors, or love your neighbors, you love yourself, and also do unto others what you love to be done to you. So I just pay for you so that you know that I have. Yeah, please ask me very fast. Yes, 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 yes. Please go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. School coffee guy. Go ahead. Ask me. Ask me before I end the stream. Please ask me. Whoa. If you become the most followed guy in the world, what would you do? And how long could I survive? If I become the most followed guy in the world, what would what would I do and how long could I survive? I don't really understand the point of surviving. Is it surviving the fame? Do you mean like sustaining the fame, or living in terms of a lifespan? But if I become the most followed guy in the world, I think for a very, very, very long time, I wanted to, because I didn't grow up with my mother. I didn't grow up with my mother. So I felt a little bit like unwanted as a kid, as a child. And so I would start up some sort of like, a place where people just go to cry, vent, and scream, cuss out, and share the nasty of the nastiest, like a retreat center. Like you can go and just scream, maybe like with a robot or with a person. Like I'd employ people there to be hugging, kissing, touching, and just comforting people. Like when you feel overwhelmed mentally and emotionally, and you just need someone to hug you, or you're going through something crazy and you can't find a human being to talk to, that place will be where you find all the help for free. But you also have to include, like you have to go through a virtual process and a virtual vetting for you to get there. So it will not just be a place of madness and craziness, but it will be public for anyone to access. So if I were the most followed person, I will do that. What do you say about some kids talking to AI girlfriends? I think that's sick. That's terrible. That's sick because wasn't I think it was a couple of weeks ago when we did a story of there's this family who are suing OpenAI. They're actually suing OpenAI because their son committed suicide. And there's also a Japanese woman. I've just tied the knot with an AI lover. There's also this AI app that enables you to speak to a dead person. Like, for example, if a relative died, you can now imagine that their dad, like for me, my dad passed on in 2019. I could download it and recreate my dad and I start speaking to him. Something that's just and awkward. So it's insane, it's sick, but it's a double-edged sword because there's people as well who are finding companionship in an AI robot. They're finding companionship over there. So there's people who are just lonely, like they can't put up with other people. They have bad social skills, bro. They can't do it. So they'd rather speak to an AI chatbot. And that's because of the world you're living in. So they'd rather find a companion in a bot. So like I always say, if it rocks your boat, then do it. I like I talk to it, but don't feel good. What do you say about some kids talking? But kids, it's no, kids should not be accessing AI chatbots. Kids below the age of 18 years should not be allowed to get into relationships or friendships or develop a virtual romantic relationship with a bot. There should be laws, actually. In fact, there's already laws that are being formulated. And in this, by the time it will be April, this year, you will see it. You will see it. There'll be universal laws of automated systems, laws about AI distributions, AI consumption, harmful AI, prohibited forms and unprohibited forms of AI. You will see that in plain sight. It will include as well children. So, no. Thank you so much. I have problems socializing with others like real people. Yeah, that's what I said. And you're likely to see people of that caliber just speaking with AI bots. But don't worry, bro. I got you. A virtual hug. I like giving people hugs. Also, I don't know. I could be speaking to a robot, bro. So hugs, man. Hugs, 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 hugs to you. I have right. I have problems socializing with others like real people. So is it about self-esteem or you just being irritable or you hate human beings because or it's a trauma? What is it? Social anxiety? What is it? Yeah, what is it? School coffee guy, you're a content creator, so do this, bruv. My number is my phone number. My phone number is on my cover page, of this YouTube show. Just go there. That's my WhatsApp number. It's also my phone call number. And then text. We'll talk. I'll remember you as I end this stream. And thank you so much for engaging me with your many interesting and endless questions. I love you. I have to go. I have to end the stream. Please finish. Where is it? My number is on the cover page of this YouTube channel. The cover photo. Just click on my profile on YouTube. The cover photo right over there. The cover photo. Or you can as well jot it down. +254 if you're not Kenyan. +2 code. +254. Then the number is 717-829-615. +254 717-829-615. Yes, I'm sure you have it, bro. If not, you'll just replay this part. So thank you so much and hugs. I have to end the stream. I have to do something else. But I appreciate you as well for tuning in to my YouTube channel. And I hope all the sentiments I've shared in this conversation or in this stream have made a little bit of sense. If not, feel free as well to ask more on my number. I'll be online to just respond to you. Thank you so much and goodbye. I appreciate you, School Coffee guy. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, my boy.